If you are still holding out hope for a happy ending for Charlotte, or if you think she is just a misunderstood teenager going through a rebellious phase, I am here to tell you to prepare for a brutal heartbreak. The door has officially slammed shut on her innocence, and the devastation she is about to wreak on the canvas will leave scars that might never heal. We are about to witness a jaw-dropping twist that crosses every moral line imaginable, and there is absolutely no turning back now. For months, we have watched the subtle, agonizing buildup of this teenage love triangle, and if you ask me, the writers have been planting the seeds of absolute chaos for a long time. Gio has been nothing but a protective, caring, and loyal friend to Emma, stepping up in situations where she needed a hero. He has always been there to offer a supportive shoulder and a warm smile. But in the shadows, Charlotte has been watching their every move. She has convinced herself, in her deeply troubled and jealous mind, that Emma is the sole obstacle standing between her and her happily ever after with Gio. Every single time Gio gave Emma a gentle look, every protective gesture he made toward her, it was like a poisoned dagger straight to Charlotte's heart. The jealousy has festered in the dark corners of Charlotte's mind, turning an innocent teenage crush into a dark, consuming, and dangerous obsession. She truly believes, with every fiber of her being, that if Emma were just permanently out of the picture, Gio would magically realize that Charlotte is his true soulmate. We saw the anonymous threats, the creepy messages, the lingering feeling that Emma was being watched from the shadows, but Charlotte is taking it to a level that is frankly terrifying. This is no longer just petty high school drama. This is a calculated, cold-blooded plot to eliminate her rival. But that's not even the craziest part. Charlotte is planning a full-blown, terrifying kidnapping. She has meticulously mapped out an isolated, abandoned wooden cabin deep in the dense forests outside of Port Charles. Itacum lies so remote, so hidden from the main roads, that the local police would take days, if not weeks, to locate it. She wants to lock Emma away in this dreadful place, completely cutting her off from the outside world, her family, and her friends. Charlotte's twisted logic dictates that this will buy enough time for Gio to miss her and inevitably run into Charlotte's waiting, comforting arms. It is a terrifying glimpse into a completely fractured psyche, showing just how far she is willing to go for a fabricated romance. Let us break down the sheer horror of the abduction scene that is coming our way. Charlotte, moving with a chilling precision that would make any seasoned villain proud, manages to drug an unsuspecting Emma. The visual of this young girl, who we have watched grow up on our screens, dragging Emma's unconscious body toward a vehicle, is a bombshell that will rock the entire town. Charlotte is completely detached from reality at this moment. She looks at Emma's lifeless, vulnerable form not with an ounce of guilt or hesitation, but with a twisted, sickening sense of victory. She thinks she has won the ultimate prize. But that's not even the craziest part. Once they arrive at the remote, creaking cabin, the atmosphere becomes absolutely suffocating. Charlotte binds Emma's wrists and ankles, leaving her in the cold, damp darkness of a place forgotten by time. Charlotte paces the dusty wooden floorboards, her mind racing with delusional, manic fantasies of Gio finally noticing her, thanking her, and loving her forever. She is so completely lost in her own distorted, fabricated reality that she fails to realize the massive, life-destroying mistake she has just made. She is holding a beloved, innocent member of the community hostage, playing a highly dangerous game of life and death that she cannot possibly win. Out of nowhere, the newly arrived, mysterious man named Hudson enters the picture in the most unexpected and serendipitous way imaginable. As he is driving on a deserted road toward Port Charles, likely to start a new job or execute a secret mission of his own, he happens to be in the exact right place at the exact right time. Through the dim lighting, Hudson spots Charlotte acting incredibly suspicious as she struggles to load an unconscious Emma into the back of her vehicle. Now, a normal civilian might panic, yell out, or immediately call the police without thinking, but Hudson is clearly not an average citizen. He is observant, highly calculated, and possesses an intense tactical awareness. But that's not even the craziest part. Instead of rushing in blindly and potentially triggering Charlotte to do something fatal to Emma, Hudson makes the split-second, professional decision to secretly trail them. He follows Charlotte's vehicle from a safe, undetectable distance, his sharp eyes glued to her taillights as they venture deeper and deeper into the uncharted, treacherous woods. He tracks them all the way to the isolated cabin without ever alerting Charlotte to his presence. Guys, the tension in these upcoming scenes is going to be absolutely off the charts. Hudson parks his car completely out of sight and creeps through the heavy, snapping brush, moving like a trained operative in the dead of night. Hudson silently observes the cabin through the filthy, cobweb-covered windows. He watches intently as Charlotte begins to completely unravel inside. She is pacing frantically, talking aggressively to herself, her behavior becoming increasingly erratic, unpredictable, and highly dangerous. Hudson realizes in that crucial moment that Charlotte is a ticking time bomb, and if he makes a single wrong move, Emma could pay the ultimate price. Recognizing that a direct, loud confrontation with a highly unstable, desperate teenager could end in a horrific tragedy, he opts for a masterclass in psychological warfare. Hudson silently circles the perimeter of the decaying cabin, his eyes scanning for a tactical advantage. He quickly locates the main electrical breaker box on the side of the structure. With one swift, decisive motion, he completely cuts the power. The cabin is instantly plunged into pitch black, terrifying darkness. Charlotte immediately panics, screaming into the void, her fragile control shattering into a million pieces as she loses her grip on the situation. In the midst of this manufactured chaos and confusion, Hudson breaches the cabin door. Moving like a ghost in the dark, he easily bypasses a frantic, flailing Charlotte. He quickly locates a bound, terrified Emma, and swiftly unties her restraints, whispering that she is safe. But that's not even the craziest part. Before Charlotte can even comprehend what is happening or attempt to attack them in the dark, Hudson subdues her. He pins her down with effortless, non-lethal precision, completely neutralizing the threat while simultaneously using his free hand to dial the authorities. The visual of the flashing police sirens finally cutting through the dark, isolated woods will be a moment of pure, cinematic television. Dante arrives on the scene with his squad, weapons drawn and flashlights piercing the night, only to find Hudson standing calmly over a defeated, sobbing Charlotte, with a terrified but safe Emma wrapped tightly in a warm blanket. Hudson hands the kidnapper over to the police without breaking a single sweat. In one single, chaotic night, this mysterious stranger has cemented himself as the ultimate hero of Port Charles. He did not just save Emma, he prevented a massive tragedy that would have completely destroyed multiple legacy families. The fallout from this incredible rescue is going to shift the entire dynamic of the town. Anna is going to be eternally, profoundly grateful to Hudson for saving her precious granddaughter from a nightmare. We all know how fiercely protective Anna is, and having a stranger step in to save Emma with such tactical brilliance will earn Hudson a permanent, unbreakable pass in her book. Jason, who always respects a man who can handle himself in a violent crisis without losing his cool, will undoubtedly give Hudson that silent, stoic nod of absolute approval. And Gio? Gio will be completely overwhelmed with emotion and gratitude, profusely thanking this mysterious, brave man for saving the girl he truly cares about. Hudson is going to be the absolute toast of the town, instantly opening doors to powerful, deeply rooted alliances with Anna, Jason, and the entire police department. He has arrived in town and immediately proven his worth in the most dramatic way possible. On the flip side of this hero's welcome is the absolute, crushing legal devastation waiting for Charlotte. If you ask me, the writers are not going to let her off easy this time, and her family name will not save her from the wrath of the justice system. The evidence against her is a massive mountain that she simply cannot climb. The police have the physical evidence recovered from the cabin, the traffic cameras showing her specific route, Emma's harrowing, tearful victim statement, and the absolute nail in the coffin. Hudson's airtight, unwavering eyewitness testimony. Hudson will become the star witness for the prosecution. His calm, detailed, and highly credible testimony will leave Charlotte with absolutely zero room to deny her horrific crimes. She is looking at a slew of severe, life-altering felony charges, including kidnapping, false imprisonment, and aggravated assault. Her life, as she knows it, is completely over. She is facing years behind bars in a federal facility, and the crushing reality of her actions is finally going to crash down on her as she sits in that cold, sterile interrogation room. But just when you think this is a simple, open and shut case of a jealous, obsessed teenager losing her mind over a boy, we get hit with a long-buried secret that changes the entire landscape of the show. As Charlotte sits in the interrogation room, trembling, crying, and facing the absolute destruction of her future, a chilling, terrifying truth begins to emerge. Charlotte did not orchestrate this elaborate, highly tactical kidnapping all by herself. Someone else was pulling the strings from the very beginning. A mysterious, unseen puppet master had been actively manipulating her fragile mental state. This mastermind was feeding her delusions, encouraging her dark, violent thoughts about Emma, and perhaps even providing the logistics for the remote cabin and the drugs used in the abduction. Charlotte, despite her guilt, was just a pawn in a much larger, far more sinister game being played in Port Charles. Who on earth would want to manipulate a teenage girl into committing a major felony? What is their ultimate, twisted endgame? As the heavy iron cell doors slam shut on Charlotte, the real, dangerous investigation is only just beginning. Hudson, now deeply embedded and respected in the fabric of Port Charles, is going to team up with Anna and the police to track down the true mastermind behind this terrifying nightmare. The danger is not over, guys. It is just hiding in plain sight, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Who is the puppet master, and who will be their next innocent victim? We will have to tune in to find out.